Jazzcast Pros.
This experience, sharing my life with you, sharing my journey, my successes, and not quite successes with you has really been helpful to me as I move along in my journey. But thank you, because I'm hearing that it's also helpful to you. So on to my top 5 podcasts. I feel like they give a good picture of what living the front seat life is all about. If you had to only listen to 5 of the episodes, I would say these would be the 5 I would choose because, well, these are the ones that you have found most helpful. And I want to share them and kind of just jog your memory so you remember where you've been with me on this journey as well. Now, you may have set resolutions or goals for 2022. I feel and believe that these episodes will help you keep those goals, help you work on those resolutions to be a better version of yourself. Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life. I'm your host, Kelly Marie, and I invite you to take this journey with me. We're going to be talking about all things mental health and emotional well-being. You see, I am a overcomer. If you are interested in figuring out the path for you to determine how and where you will drive your future, this is the place to be. We get to determine the ride. We may not get to determine the weather or who's on the road with us or if it's going to be a scenic route or not. But we are the drivers. So join me on this ride, living the front seat life. Welcome to Living the Front Seat Life podcast. It is your mental health coach, Kelly Marie, coming to you from my studio here in Buffalo, New York. And today's episode is a little walk down memory lane with a sprinkle of anecdotes and some stories. Why not? But first, I would like to thank you for listening, because you don't have to be here. There are millions of other, I'm assuming millions, right? But at least hundreds of thousands of other podcasts that you could be listening to, but you're choosing to spend a few moments with me. So I appreciate you. I am going to ask that you like, share, leave a comment for the podcast. It's easy to do. Just click one of those buttons in the show notes and you can do all of the above. So here we are at the beginning of 2022. Big shout out to you, because we made it. And I realized that I have been doing this for more than 6 months. This has been truly a journey, and not one that I thought I, first of all, would ever be on, but also didn't think I'd be here now. I was really thinking, I'd give this a good old college try, 4 or 5 podcasts, get the feeling out of my system, say I did it, and move on. But here I am. So please leave your comments, continue to reach out. You can email me at kellymarie@frontseatlife.com. I am always interested in hearing your stories, your journey, and what has been working for you. So I thought it would be great, since we're starting out 2022. Aren't you proud of me? I've said 2022 a couple of times and did not say the previous year. I'm not actually going to say it because I don't want to jinx myself, but here we are and I'm super excited. So it dawned on me, right, that I did not do a year-end roundup. I didn't, kind of close out the last year, and I apologize. I wanted to always be sure to give you new and fresh content, but this walk down memory lane, I think, is important because you get so much information. You get exposed to so much in media and social media that it's not always easy to remember everything that you've been exposed to. And if you're someone like me who has a horrible memory, it's near impossible to remember modicum of what I've been exposed to. And so these 5 episodes, I'm going to share with you in episode order, not in order of my favorite. Again, I really don't have a favorite, kind of like having kids. I've got children, and neither one or all of them are my favorite for different reasons, right? So all of the episodes are my favorite for different reasons. One, because it is evidence that I've made it another week. I'm still here. I'm still living this life. I am still on this journey. And for me to have this proof that I have done the things that I said I was going to do is reassuring to me. And it really helps me when I'm not feeling that well. And so, I live with several mental health diagnoses, and it is necessary for me to kind of keep a sunshine file. And that is a memory box, so to speak, of good times, happy thoughts, and accomplishments. Because I so easily will down and treat myself poorly with negative self-talk and actions that are not necessary, but I feel, in the moment that I haven't accomplished much, or I haven't accomplished as much as I've wanted to in life. And so keeping the sunshine file helps me remember all of the things that I've done. It helps me remember who I am. It helps me remember that there will be stumbles, there'll be falls, but it's all about getting up again. My daughter, Akila, has a social media account. She's on Instagram, Rise to My Call. And what she reminds me of often, and if you go and check out her account, follow her too while you're at it. She reminds us that it's okay to try it again, to do it again. It's all about the and again. And again, here I am with the podcast. Here I am again sharing my life. Here I am again letting myself know that it's okay to be okay and sharing that with you. So I hope you know that it's okay to be okay. And if you don't, now is the time to start moving in that direction. And again, I think it may be beneficial if I bring her on the podcast so you can hear more about the work that she's doing. She's really inspirational, and she motivates me to keep going. And you might find some benefit in hearing a part of her story and where And Again came from. So on to my top 5 podcasts. So these are episodes that I've recorded, and some have guests, some do not. I would say these would be the 5 I would choose because, well, I chose them, but you may pick another 5, and I'd love to hear about that. So if you have a favorite episode, feel free to put that in the comments and let me know your thoughts. The first episode that I am going to talk about, episode number 2, Tears Snot Everywhere. This episode was the first time that I had experienced an anxiety attack, and I wasn't sure why. I didn't know what was happening. And so this episode, I explained what it felt like, explained the situation around the anxiety attack and the process that I went through to dig deeper. And so I was able to come to a conclusion as to why I experienced it, and it helped me make some better decisions moving forward. So Tears Snot Everywhere. So episode 2, last year of Living the Front Seat Life podcast, is the first one that I suggest you check out again or listen to for the first time if you missed that one. It was my first time being transparent, radically transparent in this kind of way, not knowing who would hear it, if anyone would listen, and you did. And so thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. Tears Snot Everywhere was my first journey into really being my authentic self, not just in my day-to-day life, but here on the podcast. And it happened early on. And so I think it kind of set the tone for what would come. But check out Tears Snot Everywhere, episode number 2. The next episode is episode number 5, Sugar Crash. So this episode, I had Chef Alexa Joan come on. She is absolutely amazing. Check her out at Alexa Joan on Instagram, or at Eat Off Art, like, you can make a living eating off art. That is her other account. She came on. She's an incredible chef, and we talked about sugar and salt and what sugar does to the body and your brain. That mental fog that you get into when you consume not even too much sugar, but just enough, right? It really opened my eyes to one, what I was doing to my body, because I have issues with sugar. And, listening to the episodes, you'll hear that come out a couple of times. But it really helped put into focus what I'm doing and how I can do better. If you already listened to that episode, go back and check it out, because there are some key tips and points that Chef Alexa gives us to make some changes in our life. And these are not over the top changes. These are just everyday type of things that we can do in order to live a healthier life, which also affects our mental health. So that was episode number 5, Sugar Crash. The next episode number 6, I had sports analyst and commentator Robert Devereaux on the show, and we talked about Naomi Osaka. This is back when she withdrew from the French Open and was opening up about her mental health and what she needed to do in order to be mentally healthy. I really enjoyed this episode because we got into, cultural context and what some other things could mean, again, outside looking in, because I don't know her personally. I know Robert doesn't know her personally, but we were able to talk about some cultural themes and context around that decision at that time, what may have been, she may have been thinking about and going through, and the importance of boundary setting and self-care and what self-care really means. Self-care is not a bubble bath. Now, you may like a bubble bath, but self-care is really setting boundaries. It's making those difficult decisions. It's holding yourself and other people accountable. It is all of those things. It can be journaling. It can be going for nature walks. It can be meditating and being mindful. But we really started that discussion around self-care and what that means and the ramifications of self-care in that episode. So that is episode number 6. That episode was on Naomi Osaka, mental health and tennis. The next episode, this experience that I share in this episode was one of my favorite experiences of the year. So episode number 16, Kelly versus the Grand Fondo, was an epic adventure for my first bike ride, massive bike ride. Like, I ride my bike all the time, but like they have runs and races. This was not a bike race. It was just a ride. So it's an organized ride down in Chautauqua County. I did a 20-mile ride on my bike, and setting goals and realizing those goals has such a different feeling mentally than just going out and by happenstance, you happen to do a thing. So Kelly versus the Grand Fondo, I think, is a hilarious episode because that ride kicked my butt. But also, I got an email from the race organizer saying it's time to sign up again. I don't know if I'm going to sign up again, and that's okay. We'll see. But my point is, 1, doing things that you've never done before can bring you joy that you never thought you could experience. And 2, setting goals and realizing those goals can increase your mental health and give you a win, a much needed win. I feel like we all need, a win. But setting a goal and attaining it gives you a win, and it really helps you be a better you because you have that, kind of in your pocket. So that is episode number 16, Kelly versus the Grand Fondo. I will keep you posted as to whether or not I register and ride the ride. Now, I could see myself registering and not riding the ride, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to let at least, the snow melt and get back out on the bike to see if this is a ride that I want to participate in again. So keep your ears peeled for that one. And my last episode that I think really brings the journey full circle, it rounds everything out, is episode number 19, Start with Sleep. I had a guest on, sleep expert Soda Kuchkowski. She really brought the business when it comes to the importance of sleep and the importance of sleep and your mental health and things that we can do to actually increase our sleep quality. This episode has changed my journey. It really has. I took to heart the words that she left with us and the advice that she gave us. I ended up downloading the app that she recommends, and I used it to start tracking my sleep. I'm waking up different. I'm sleeping different. That episode really, I cannot speak highly enough about how much having her on this show did for me. So if you have not checked out episode 19, even if you have, go back and listen to it. These episodes are only like 15, 20 minutes. So go ahead and take a little time and check that episode out again, because there may be some key points in there that you missed about how you can have a better sleep. So those are my top 5, or my recommended 5 episodes from last year that I'm suggesting you listen to help you start out this year on a good foot. Now, you may have set resolutions or goals for 2022, and here we are in, January. Have you kept them? Are you still working on them? What does that look like? I feel and believe that these episodes will help you keep those goals, help you work on those resolutions to really help you be a better version of yourself. So let me go back over those again. Episode 2, Tears Snot Everywhere. Episode 5, Sugar Crash. Episode 6, Naomi Osaka. Episode 16, Kelly versus the Grand Fondo. And episode 19, Start with Sleep with Soda Kuchkowski. Those are the episodes I'm recommending you go back and check out. And as always, I'm going to ask that you leave a comment there and here. I want to hear from you. I absolutely love hearing the progress that you're making, and it inspires me to continue to do what I do. So thank you for listening. I am going to call Akila. I'm going to call her and book her on this show so that she can come and tell you guys what it means to do it again, to try again, to rise to your call. So look out for that episode coming soon. Until the next time, thank you for listening. I am your mental health coach, Kelly Marie, and I encourage you to be kind to yourself and also to be the light.